Hello, my name is Grace Adimola Adinli. So I'm a product designer with some tech experience of like about 10 years. Yeah, so I have a passion for tech education. So I enjoy teaching on technology and especially in design. So I have been a designer for a few years now, probably like 3 to 4 years now. And I thought a number of people have actually been messaging me like, please help us with this. How do I get into the space? How do I do this and that? So this has been a series of trainings, starting from software development and then now drilling into UX design. So this particular edition is talking about basic intro into UX design. So it's basically a before you dive in. Okay. Now, last week we talked about how do you make a choice? Do you make a choice in the tech industry based on based on someone else's experiences, or do you make such choices based on your own personality, or is it based on money, or the direction of the industry? So that's what we talked about, and it was extensively talked about, and I got a number of feedback based on it. So today we'll be talking specifically again about, we're now going into UX design, and this is basic intro. Before we go ahead, I would like to say that for you to be a UX designer, you don't need some prior knowledge in programming or some prior knowledge in the tech industry. What you need to have, most importantly, is empathy. Empathy for your users, or what some people call sympathy, but this is not sympathy. This is more like empathy, putting yourself in the shoes of the people that are using a particular product or service. So now, what is UX design? UX design, the full meaning is user experience design, and that is the study, or some people call it a science. It's basically the study of your users and creating services, applications, specifically for that their experience. For instance, when you walk into a bank, for instance, so when you walk into a bank and then the particular way the security person greets you, you walk in, you like the color that they painted the space, all those kind of things, those are your experience. You as a user are experiencing some things while you're walking in. So that is your user experience. So somebody ideally should have designed that experience. So that's basically what UX design is in that sense of it. So another example is a restaurant. Your service, your experience from the point of view of someone that is hungry when walking into a restaurant is you just want to get ahead, order your food, start eating, and then straight up you are done, you pay for your food and you are out. So that's what you are expecting as a user. But what you get when you get into the place is now the experience that's been delivered to you. So user experience design is basically the research of users, either potential or existing users, in order to build a perfect experience for them. So it's not, in other words, I'm trying to say that UX design or user experience design is not limited to the technology space at all. It is in everything we do. It's in architecture, it's in food business, it's in everything, literally. How you experience a particular service or product is user experience. Okay, so now are we talking about this more in the context of software? So firstly, how popular is UX design? UX design is very popular. In short, it's an old concept. It's something that has been from time. So you'd see that many applications or websites that you have been looking at have kind of diversified. They've changed the way they look, the way you interact with them, even just Google. So if you're someone that was using Google many years ago when they first started, you would see that it was more busy until they stripped it down to a basic search box right now. That you just go ahead and search for what you want. So that's an example of how user experience has evolved. So let me give you other examples of what UX design is in the software industry. When you go to Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or even YouTube, and you want to say browse for something to read. So let me say YouTube, for instance. So when you're browsing, you're just surfing and you want to look at something that you should watch. That thing where you are looking for something to watch is the experience you are looking forward to. So the whole interface, how it looks, how you interact with it, how you probably want to search for something specific, how you find the search box and search for it, how you should the search box should it be at the top, should it be at the bottom, should it be at the left, should it be at the right hand side, should you draw a whole full search box, or should it just be one icon? Will the user understand the search icon, or should we put our navigation menu on the left hand side, or should it be on the right hand side? Should we do a top navigation? All those things are usually researched on by user experience designers to know what the ideal user, the target users of that particular product, what they expect, and how to deliver that experience to them. So that's an example using YouTube, and the same thing applies to basically almost every software application that you're using. Okay, so the question is, what can you learn in UX design? What should you look forward to learning? What kind of experiences would you expect to have? So one thing is you'd learn how to research, user research. So the reason why earlier on I said you don't need any prior understanding or knowledge when coming to the UX design space is because many of these things are stuff that we already experienced. Many of these things are things that we already learned, even in university. For instance, you already learned how to conduct surveys. You learned the concept of surveys and interviews and all those kind of things. Those are some of the tools that you'll be making use of in the UX design space. So now, what can you say you would learn? You would learn UX research, like I just mentioned. You will learn UI design. Now, UI design is a subset of UX design, and that is user interface design. Basically, how stuff look like and how they feel. So you also learn concepts such as user testing, how to test your solutions, you don't just create stuff and deploy them and send them into the old space for people to just start using it. So that's not really how it should be done, even though it's being done like that in many places. Okay, so now different parts in user experience design are basically, there are three major parts that I usually categorize UX design into. The first one is the strategy, the second one is I'll call it the strategist, the researcher, and then the creator. So the strategist is the person that puts all the pieces together, like, okay, so this person will work on this part, basically bringing all the pieces together. The researcher is one that goes out and goes to go and talk to actual users, or behind the computer using some tools, which we'll still talk about down the line. And then we have the creator, which is the one that most people think a designer is. When you talk about UX design, most people think it's just using Figma or using Adobe XD or Photoshop to design stuff. That's just one part of it. So now, how do you switch from an existing career? Switching from an existing career is actually very easy. It's you just, like I said, you don't need to know something. It's something that you can just jump from being an account officer into UX design, because all the major thing you need to have is the empathy for users. You need to be able to empathize or feel for the user, put yourself in their shoes. That's the major thing. If you feel you have that, then welcome. So I'll round this off by saying that it's actually not difficult to get into this space. There are articles and there are kind of people that you should follow. I'll talk about that most likely in the next one. And if you are subscribed to the mentorship program that we're about to start, basically starting now in October. So if you are subscribed to that, you'll probably be receiving some emails already. If you're not subscribed to that and you're interested, please just send a message or comment, DM me, whatever it is, so that I can add you. So I can send you the link and then you get added to the list. So that'll be it. I'll talk more about the mentorship program that's coming up in the next video that I'll be talking about. So thank you very much, and enjoy your day. Bye-bye.